All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Jordan. I'm a technician at Hall Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and we've got Miss Hellcat Honey out today.
Hey.
And she's bringing our car out to us because she's had some issues ever since the RSU. You know, you've had the red wrench light and a couple different things. So what exactly has been happening, since you had that RSU?
So a couple of times it actually bricked on me. You get that, I call it the death wrench here going on. So it just basically wouldn't start. If anybody saw my video the first go around, or actually the second go around, it would not turn off.
Yeah.
And then the dashboard, you have all of these crazy signals. It's just saying all of these pop-ups saying, hey, you need to do this, stop the car, start the car. So just a lot of electronic kind of things going on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I drive one too, so I totally believe you because it's happened to me quite a few times too. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get you in and I'm going to check a bunch of different things that I can check.
Okay.
And we may not be able to fix it completely because we do rely on Stellantis and Chrysler to help come up with new software. And there are some new software updates, but there are a lot of things that I can check just to make sure nothing was overlooked and we can make sure your car is happy and safe and get you back on the road.
Well, I appreciate it. And overall, I mean, the car is a fantastic car.
Yeah, I love them.
And I was telling somebody the other day too, as long as you're working to get the software fixed, I mean, this is an amazing car.
Yeah.
And I want to just kind of promote that positivity with the car because once you get in it, once you ride it, it is a fantastic car.
Yeah, because I think you're in the same camp as me as, being a normal person who's been able to go out and afford a car that is, sub, 4 seconds. And I said, I don't make a lot of money as a technician. So being able to drive this car every day is pretty fun for me.
Yep.
So it could be fun for a lot of other people too, as long as we get these issues fixed.
Absolutely. Saves tons of gas, I will tell you.
Oh, yeah. And maintenance too. There's no maintenance.
Yes, there's no maintenance on it.
Maybe tires if you're driving like me. So.
Or going to the director.
Yeah. But all right, guys, we're going to get back inside. I'm going to walk you guys through the diagnostic process. And it may not be the funnest video because I'm going to be doing a lot of technical stuff, but at least that'll create some transparency and you guys can see exactly what goes on at the dealership when you drop your car off for service. So thanks, Miss Honey, for bringing it by to me.
I appreciate you taking care of me.
Yep, we'll get you straight.
All right, take care, guys.
Bye. If you don't know who Hellcat Honey is, I would highly recommend you taking a look at her channel. Not only is she, an owner of this car, but she's also a big Mopar fan. So somebody who's coming from a Mopar lineage has decided to take a chance on this car, bugs and all, and she'll tell you that she's having a good time with it, despite the kinks that need to be worked out. So definitely go check her out. You'll be able to see everything that's happened to her, the good and bad, and get her perspective on this car. The same thing can be said for a lot of other YouTubers. We've got Brandon over at Socket Monkey Garage, Auto Auction Rebuilds, Mod to Fame. You can check these guys out. There's also All-Wheel Drive. His experience has not been as good as some of the others. Now, this is a first-year car. Not only is it, a first generation, but it's also our first EV. So there are a lot of bugs to work out. And me being a tech, as much as I like this car, I'll tell you, it definitely has some issues that need to be worked out. And that's okay. That's why I'm here today. To document this, create some transparency, let you know exactly what we're doing when these cars come in. So like I said before, this might not be the most exciting or fun video. It's going to be a lot of ScanTool use and testing, but I want to document this so you can see exactly what goes on behind closed doors. And a lot of people don't realize what happens at the dealership when you bring your car in, and this will help give a better understanding. Again, it may not be the funnest video, but at least you'll know what happens. But before I do get rolling, I do want to give a disclaimer. I'm no expert on this vehicle. I'm just a technician who happens to own one. I get to spend a lot of time with them. I drive one every day, and I got to experience these issues firsthand. If I was an expert, I wouldn't be here at the dealership. I would be in Michigan with the other engineers. So just keep that in mind. I try not to give any information that I can't back up with a TSB or a service bulletin or star case, just so that way we keep everything correct and in line with what Dodge wants you to know. On top of that, too, I don't work for Dodge. I don't work for Stellantis. I work for my dealership. I'm technically not an employee of Dodge or Stellantis. I'm an employee of Hall Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Virginia Beach, Virginia. So I can kind of say things that they may not necessarily agree with, and it is what it is. We don't always see eye to eye on things, but that doesn't mean that I don't want these cars to succeed or the brand to succeed because I love Mopar. I'm a big Mopar fan. My cars are all Mopars. And I would love nothing more than this company to go back to making awesome cars that people love. And like I said, I love this car. It's fun to me. No matter how much people don't like it, I like the car, and that's all that matters. So just keep that in mind as we get rolling. Some of the things I may say or do today may not reflect the exact thoughts that Dodge may have, but it is what it is. You guys need to know what's going on. So here's what I know about this car. It's been pretty well documented on Hellcat Honey's channel, all the issues that she's been having. Now, when I went through this vehicle's service history, I can see basically every time it's ever been serviced at a dealership. And what I found is it doesn't have much history at all. But the 5th of this month, May, it did go in for the software update. the 25-08024, and that was that latest round of software. Now, I can't really see that too much else has been done, but what we're going to do is we're going to go through with the ScanTool. I'm going to do some screen recording so you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing, and we're going to check for a couple of different things. The first thing is we're going to take a bunch of scan reports. We're going to check for codes. I'm going to leave myself some breadcrumbs. At the end of this video, I'm going to submit this entire case to Stellantis so they can review this. This is going to help them not only fix this car, but any other car that exhibits the same symptoms and has the same codes. It's unfortunate, but with this happening at Hellcat Honey, will help fix all the other owners' cars, just like this last round of software. It takes a couple people, we submit the data, they go through it, and that's what develops these fixes. Now, the dealer scan tool that we use is something called YTech. That's a wireless pod that connects via Wi-Fi over all of the access points in here over to my computer system. And so I'll be able to use this, get it on the DLC, and then we'll be able to communicate with the car. I'm going to get YTech loaded up, hop over to the screen recorder, and we're going to start diving into this car and see what we can find. So as we're loaded in, I can see the car, and right off the bat, I can see that we have 11 codes. It'll give me a couple prompts. And here is our topology. This is the CAN networks, and this is every model that's on this vehicle. Blue means everything's okay. Yellow means that there's a fault that's been detected. And right here, if you guys see this green lightning bolt, that's pretty good. That means that there is a software update available for one of these models. Before we get rolling, we're going to check out all the DTCs, all the codes. And I can see that it doesn't have as many as I thought it would, but it does have some codes. So I'll start by taking these reports I was telling you about, do several PDFs, and I'm going to be able to submit these to Stellantis. This is what's going to help build the engineering case. So, hopping back over to our topology, I'm eyeballing that lightning bolt. That means there's an update that may have possibly slipped through the cracks at the last dealership. But we're going to find out. So if we come over here, even though this isn't set in any kind of code, I can see that we do have a bulletin. And we do have a flash. So reading here through the bulletin, I can see that, yes, this may apply to this vehicle. One of the symptoms that the customer may experience will be that red wrench icon lighten up. So it's going to be pretty important that we do knock this service out. So I'm going to get geared up, and we're going to go through, and I'm going to perform the software update on Miss Honey's car. Now, before I perform this update, I'm going to make sure that I use a 50 amp charger, and we're going to supply some voltage to the 12 volt system during the flash, so that way I don't damage anything. It's part of the procedure when reading through the TSB. So I'm going to start by doing that and make sure that nothing goes wrong by following the directions as they're instructed. Now I can hop back over to YTech, and we'll start the flash. Back to our topology, back to the electronic power steering module. Follow the prompts, making sure that we do have a battery charger connected. A couple of disclaimers from Stellantis here saying they want to make sure that I know what I'm doing, not going to mess something up. And we'll start the update, which is it's pretty simple. I just wait for this loading bar to finish. But after that, there are a couple steps for this vehicle. I'll have to go through and do a couple configurations to make sure that this flash went through successfully. Our flash was successfully completed. We'll come back and we'll check some codes. And more than likely, this thing is going to be extremely unhappy. And it is. So I'll start by clearing all these codes, especially since I took my scan report before. I don't have to worry about anything because it's all been documented. And we're going to have a couple other codes here. This is because of the flash. And I mentioned before, I'm going to have to come back and do a couple of different resets. Come through and I'll reset the electronic power steering module. come back and do a proxy alignment. While it does look like everything is configured on the proxy, I'm going to continue anyway. We'll come back and we'll see what codes we have now. Probably still have a couple. Everything went stored. So now in Stellantis vehicles, we have two different types of codes. We've got a stored code and an active code. When something comes in with an active code, that means it's happening right now. Something has a stored code, that means something happened and the car didn't like it. But it's kind of like a past history, kind of like a fingerprint left behind. So a lot of times when vehicles come in and we're trying to figure out what's going on with them, we're kind of having to go, piece things together after the fact using a stored code. But we can still do some diagnostics with a stored code. So everything's clear. There should be one code that's in this car from the map interface module. There is a software update coming for this. This is for DXR. That's basically the dash cam that these vehicles have on them if you've got a Highline vehicle. And that software should be releasing hopefully any day now. But the driver will not notice any issue. Everything should be pretty smooth sailing from here on out. So the car's been through its sleep cycle and everything is good. I've gone inside, I've checked it. It has no lights on the dash, nothing weird's happened. And we're going to hop over to Y-Tech one last time. We're going to make sure it has no codes. It probably will still have that one code for the mapping interface module. And again, there is another software update, hopefully here within the next week, that's going to resolve that issue. But hopefully we're going to get in here, we're going to see 0 codes. But after that, there's going to be a couple more things that I still want to take a look at. So one last peek in Y-Tech. We're looking. The only code that we do have is for that map interface module, which is good. And that means the flash was successful. Nothing weird's going on right now. And I'm going to call at least this portion a success. Now, a few other things that I want to check out. It's going to be one of these ground cables down here. You're going to see a couple down here, and one here. During time of transit, a lot of the truck drivers didn't exactly know what to do. These things were, they were bricking when they first came off the line. And the negative terminal, if you guys have seen some of my other videos, isn't the easiest to access. The battery strap does cover it. So some of these delivery drivers, when they were dropping them off, were trying to disconnect some of these cables down here to kind of reset the battery. So I like to come in and I like to check these 3 grounds and make sure they're all tight. I've already put a wrench on them, and they are. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this battery out and I'm going to charge and test it. We're going to make sure that her 12-volt battery is in fact healthy. Now I have the battery removed, and my reason behind removing it to charge and test is Stellantis has put out publications where they don't want these batteries charged while they're still connected to the vehicle. We don't want any type of voltage being backfed into the vehicle because that can create damage. So if you're using a trickle charger at home, or we're trying to charge this battery for whatever reason, again, these things are under warranty. You should be bringing them to us. We're more than happy to take care of you. But if you are in a situation, please make sure that the batteries are disconnected because we don't want to damage the vehicles. So I have it hooked up to the Maximus battery tester here. And this thing, if you saw one of my last videos, this thing absolutely sucks. Sorry, Stellantis, but you guys need to come up with something better. So it's probably going to take us upwards of an hour. It doesn't give me really any kind of countdown to say, hey, the battery's going to take an hour and a half. It just starts charging. And that would be kind of nice to know, so we can give a customer who's waiting in a lobby an idea of how long their battery's going to be charging. Once this thing gets done charging, it'll perform a test, and it's going to let me know whether this 12-volt battery is healthy or not. So after about 45 minutes, the machine has come to a conclusion. It has, in fact, determined that the battery is bad. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because that means we're making some headway on what's going on with Miss Hellcat Honey's car. We're finding issues. We're going to be able to solve some of them. And again, with this machine here, this is the only way that I can replace a battery under warranty. I have to test it. It has to spit out this code here. This is what I submit to Stellantis in order to get the battery. I input the VIN, do a couple other things. Again, this battery could have a giant gaping hole in it, but unless this machine says that it's bad, that's the only way that I can replace one under warranty. And I'm sure you're probably asking, why does a 2025 vehicle need a new battery? Well, think of it this way. This is only a 300 crank amp battery, and it doesn't really do much. It does power some of the interior electronics, but its main responsibility is opening and closing the high voltage contactors. That allows the high voltage battery to maintain and charge the small battery. So when these vehicles are bricking, or let's say they sat on a lot for a long time, and it's going through that cycle of being depleted and then jumped and then charged again, and depleted and then jumped and charged again, that's just not healthy for a battery. And that's why we can get these batteries that are testing bad right off the bat. Now, I'm going to run to the parts department. I'm going to throw a new one in here. And hopefully, between the software update that we found and a new 12-volt battery, the majority of these issues are going to be resolved. Let's hope so anyway. So I've got the new battery installed. I've got one last thing I want to talk about this battery with, and that's this tag right here. This is very important. When you read this tag, it says, when reconnecting the battery, turn on the ignition for 1 minute. This procedure is necessary to prevent battery drain. This is very important. Follow this step if you guys remove this battery, whether you're a technician or somebody who's just trying to, get your car started. This is critical. I keep this printed in my toolbox. This is important stuff. If you don't do this, you're creating a self-inflicted issue. You're causing the problem on this car. So keep that in mind. That battery will drain if you do not run inside and turn that ignition on and leave it on for 1 minute. And that's not a fault of the car. That's operator error if you are back there tampering with that battery. So after getting the battery installed, I went out on a test drive. Driving it around, I didn't see anything abnormal. No lights, no stalling events, no bricking. We also tried 2 different chargers, a level 2 and a level 3. Everything went great with charging. Nothing weird happened. Now, I'm not going to say this car is 100% fixed. I would like to think that I did fix it, but we know that there's more software coming, so Stellantis is aware of other issues, and they are coming down the pipeline. So here's what we did for Hellcat Honey's car. We brought it in, we checked for codes. We checked for available TSBs and software updates, and we did find a software update. We ended up going through, and we tested the 12-volt battery, and I did find the 12-volt battery to test bad. I replaced that battery. We also checked a couple grounds, and the most important thing is we took all this data that we compiled, and we sent it to Stellantis, to the engineers, so they can help create fixes for these customers. There are some YouTubers out there that say that they'll buy this car, once some of the issues are fixed because they want their wife and their daughter to be safe in it. And I completely agree. We want everybody to be safe in their cars. But it's very important that we send that information to Stellantis so these fixes get rolled out so those people can buy this car. And I want to say thank you to Hellcat Honey. She passed 2 dealerships to get to me. And if anything does happen to this car again, I'm going to be more than happy to take a look at it, just like I would for any of our other customers, whether it be an EV car or any Mopar. I love fixing these cars. It's my job. It's what I do. And, if you're in on my area, if you're in the Hampton Roads and you have one of these cars or any Mopar, have any kind of issues with them, bring them to me. I'll be happy to take a look at it for you. I'm not going to stop until we fix it. I'll exhaust all my resources. We'll go up the chain to Stellantis, and we're going to make sure that we get your guys' cars fixed. But if you haven't already, please go subscribe to Hellcat Honey. Check her YouTube channel out, and you can see firsthand all the problems that she's had and the good things she's had to say about the car. The same thing can be said for all the other YouTubers. We've got Auto Auction Rebuilds, Brandon at Socket Monkey Garage. His channel is phenomenal, and he's helped me out greatly throughout this entire process of filming these videos. The Mopar Junkie, he's also purchased one. And you got Mod Defame. He's out there roasting other YouTubers right now, currently, as we speak, trying to defend this car, which, yeah, is pretty cool, because like I said, I like this car. Doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to like it. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't have a Hemi in it, but it is still a Dodge. And we care about Dodge. We want them to succeed because we love Mopar. I don't think I've ever seen a car make more grown men cry than this thing right here. It's just a chunk of metal with 4 wheels. You guys are pretty upset about that. So, I think they did a good job on that part. But if you guys like today's video, please do me a favor, hit subscribe, leave me a comment. I know you guys hate this car. I love seeing it, so go down below and drop one. And I just want to say thanks for everybody who watches my videos. I do have a full-time job that I love, so I try and make these as much as I can because I want you guys to see just what goes on with these cars, more than just what you're seeing on the YouTube videos as far as people driving and own them, what goes behind the scenes of taking care of them and fixing them. So please, again, throw me a like, leave that comment. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, guys.